Let's take a walk back in time. Not to the grand marble halls of the Senate or the blood soaked sands of the Colosseum, but to the noisy, crowded, and wonderfully messy streets of ancient Rome. Forget the emperors and the famous generals for a moment. We're going to spend a day with someone you've never heard of, a completely normal person. Let's call him Lucius. Our day begins early, not with an alarm clock, but with the sun. Lucius lives with his family in an insula, a tall, rickety apartment block that towers over a narrow street. There's no running water up here on the fourth floor, and the first sounds he hears are not birds, but the shouting of vendors down below and the rumble of delivery carts that were banned from the city during the daylight hours. He doesn't have a big breakfast. Maybe he chews on a piece of bread dipped in wine or water, saving his appetite for later. He gets dressed, which is a simple affair. He pulls on a tunic, a basic knee-length shirt that is the standard outfit for almost everyone. No complicated togas for a man like Lucius. Those were for formal occasions or for the upper crust showing off their status. Lucius is a plebeian, a commoner, and he runs a small food stall, a tabernae, near one of the city's bustling forums. He walks to work, navigating a sea of people. The streets are a chaotic symphony of life. He dodges donkeys, steps over stray dogs, and greets his neighbors. The air is thick with the smells of baking bread, cheap perfume, and something less pleasant from the gutters. Rome was a city of 1,000,000 people, and it smelled like it. At his stall, he sells simple, fast food to the working people of Rome. He might have warm sausages, cheese, olives, and bread. His customers are builders, clerks, and couriers, all grabbing a quick bite. He exchanges gossip, complains about the price of grain, and hears the latest news, which travels not by newspaper, but by word of mouth, spreading through the city like a ripple in a pond. Around midday, the real heart of the Roman social day begins. Lucius closes his stall for a couple of hours and heads to the public baths. This is not just about getting clean, it is the absolute center of social life. For a very small fee, anyone could enter. The baths were the gym, the spa, the community center, and the social media of its day. Inside, he would move through rooms of different temperatures, from a warm room to a steamy hot room that made him sweat, and finally to a plunge in a cold pool. But mostly, he would talk. He'd meet friends, maybe make a small business deal, play a game of dice, and hear the latest political rumors. Here, in the noise and steam, a shopkeeper could stand next to a clerk, and a soldier next to a poet. It was the great equalizer of Roman society. After the baths, feeling refreshed and clean, he might head back to his stall for a few more hours of business as people head home from work. But as the sun begins to set, the city starts to change. The main meal of the day, the cena, is eaten in the evening. For Lucius and his family, it's not the lavish, multi-course banquet you see in movies. It's a simple, hearty meal in their small apartment. Maybe some vegetable stew, more bread, and if they were lucky, a bit of fish. As true darkness falls, Rome becomes a different place. There are no streetlights. The city plunges into an intimidating blackness, broken only by flickering oil lamps from windows or the torches of wealthy citizens being escorted by bodyguards. The streets become dangerous, a place for muggers and thieves. Most sensible people, like Lucius, would lock their heavy wooden doors and stay inside. The biggest fear for anyone living in an insula was fire. These wooden buildings or tinder boxes, and a knocked-over lamp could destroy an entire block. So, as Lucius lies down on his simple mattress, the sounds of the city don't completely fade. He hears a distant argument, the barking of a dog, and the ever-present hum of 1,000,000 lives packed tightly together. His day was not of epic battles or grand speeches, but it was a life. It was a day filled with work, food, friends, and family, lived under the shadow of the greatest empire the world had ever known. And in its own way, it was just as real and just as important.